Welcome to the film section. We made it another week. Yay!
Made it to
We got a good one. We're ready. We got a good one for you. We're going to be talking about Without a Paddle, and then we're going to throw in some of our lesser known or not so lauded comedy. We're just be talking about under the radar comedy,
our unsung heroes of the comedy world.
Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about Without a Paddle because, been feeling down the last couple weeks, and
Okay.
I started thinking about Without a Paddle, and even just thinking about it, I was like, I kind of started smiling. And then when I watched it the other night, I was just like, this movie is just so much fun. Like, it is not a movie that takes itself seriously. There is nothing to take seriously. It is about three friends, Matthew Lillard, Seth Green, and Dax Shepard, who, after their fourth friend Billy dies, they decide to go on a camping trip in the mountains of Oregon to find D.B. Cooper's treasure. And the movie is ridiculous.
Hey, this movie did something that the boys couldn't do, and killed Homelander.
Yeah, holy shit. And a very unrecognizable Homelander too.
Oh, yeah. And a very unrecognizable Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, you really have to look at Anthony Starr's face and be like, oh yeah, that's him, huh?
Oh yeah.
Emo Anthony Starr.
I had no idea. I also had no idea. I totally forgot that he was even in this.
Same.
That's wild.
But yeah, I mean, so this movie was I want to say this movie came out in 2004, either late 2003 or early 2004. And so it was right after Scooby-Doo came out, the live action Scooby-Doo. So Matthew Lillard was kind of on a wave with that. Seth Green, was at that point, I'm pretty sure he was done doing Buffy. He was on to Family Guy, and I think Robot Chicken was starting. Dax Shepard was working on Punk'd at the time. So all three of these guys were known kind of for what they do. I think Matthew Lillard at the time was probably the biggest draw of the three.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But I mean, just everything about this movie is just so much fun. From the first scene, I don't even want to say from the first scene where the actual movie starts, because the beginning of the movie is kind of a compilation of when they're little kids, and then it kind of follows them, and then they graduate high school or whatever, and then Billy Anthony Starr drives off, then you see Seth Green say he's gonna do great things. Matthew Lillard is we all are, and Dax Shepard just kind of smiles, and then you cut to him a couple years later about to have sex with some gorgeous woman, and then, and it's yeah, he's doing great things.
It shows that with light on the top.
Well, dude, it shows that, and it shows it cuts to Seth Green being physically and verbally harassed by somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, he's listening to Clay Aiken's "If I Was Invisible," as he's trying.
This is okay. So in the 20 minutes of this movie I was able to watch, dude, that guy was fucking awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm Dr. Mott. He's like, oh, are you? He's like, well, I can fix that. And he gets inside, and Seth Green thinks he's gonna smash the window. He's holding an inhaler out.
He rolls up the window just enough to hold out the pepper spray, and the guy's like, all right. Then he walks away, and then a couple seconds later, he's like, ah! He just scares him and shit.
No, it's not even pepper spray, it's his inhaler.
Yeah, it was an inhaler.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's his inhaler.
I just
that makes it so much funnier, dude.
He was bracing for the dude to smash his window, and he just took the side and bent it over his knee, and then came back for the extra scare.
I was too distracted by the how funny it was that the guy came back for like a jump scare almost on Seth Green. Uh, it's very I think their like relationship is very conventional, but convention in these kind of movies isn't a bad thing at all. And I think like all three actors do a good job. Like
Oh, they
Matthew
totally do.
Lillard's definitely like the straight guy. Seth Green obviously the nerdy one, and Dax Shepard's like the wild card of the group,
Yeah.
I guess.
Hey, bro. Hey, he tries to work it out when Tony comes home.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Dude, he's so smooth, bro. He's like, how about a little he's like,
like,
I'm
oh.
down for a Tom sandwich, light on the Tom.
Well, she like walks in and he's like, "Oh, thank God."
No,
He
By the way,
hits him
who's
with like the
Tony?
fucking Tiger Crane style. Starts fucking scratching him and giving him a fucking front kick.
yeah. No, it's ridiculous. And then like um I love when you meet Jerry and Jerry O'Connell, who's Matthew Lillard's character. Um and fucking he's
Why is
having
his
an
name
argument.
Why is his name Jerry O'Connell?
Is that
Was it
his real name, Jerry O'Connell, in
was
the
it Jerry?
movie?
I know it was Jerry Conlon. Sorry, Jerry Conlon.
Oh,
Jerry,
okay. I was gonna say, I was
Um,
like,
Jerry
Jerry
O'Connell
O'Connell. That's weird.
yeah, no,
is
Jerry
is a
Conlon.
nod to his boy, Jerry.
Um, but so like when we meet Matthew Lillard's character, his wife has set up like an amazing
Oh yeah.
anniversary like dinner and everything, and Matthew Lillard has no idea, and so she's just like, there's one specific day that every couple shares that's meant to just be special. Do you know what day that is? And Matthew
Thursday?
Lillard is just like, he's just like, of course I do. I love dip. And then he just goes straight for the dip and just starts eating it. And then yeah, like there's earlier when he's just like, Thursday?
Well, look, he has like a line though
then
where
he's like the smoothness comes in. He thinks he's me. He's like, would you prefer being the nagging
Oh
wife?
yeah.
it's like,
Please
please tell me
God,
that
don't
was
tell me that was you proposing to me. And he's just like, no.
Then
Here's the- I
then his
think-
answering machine, and then it's his fucking like his mom.
Cause we're doing it.
He's like, then it's his fucking mom.
So
Well, I mean,
there's
here's the thing about Matthew Lillard in this. Like, he's very much known for playing like the either side character. I think he does like a good job as like the lead guy in this because he's known for playing like the kind of out there character, the more like more like the Dex Shepard character, like would be in this kind of like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
more like off the wall character, but like this in SLC Punk like kind of proved that especially with like his narration in SLC Punk like proved like yeah, he can do like the straight guy pretty good.
oh
Like you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
I wish he would have been in more things.
I mean, he's
Yeah, I mean, how
he's
many
been in a
actors
lot.
can you
I
say
mean,
are
he's been in
like
a
Matthew
lot,
Lillard?
but
he does more voice act. I mean, he's done Scooby Doo for the last 20 years.
yeah,
Well, Shaggy from Scooby Doo for the last 20 years now.
he's been in a lot, but like I would have liked to see more range, like an SLC Punk type thing for him.
Yeah. I mean, I know he had an episode of he was in an episode of Criminal Minds where he was playing like a very like deranged like killer, which was kind of a cool role. He's gonna be in the
And he
new
was
Five Nights
like-
at Freddy's movie.
Yeah, Five
And he
Nights at
was like,
Freddy's.
"I'll be
That's
right."
good. That's cool to see that too.
Obviously Scream. Yeah, obviously Scream. He was great. He also Matthew Lillard also directed a movie called Fat Kid Rules the World, which is based off of one of like my favorite books growing up. So that was a really cool movie for him to write and
Well,
direct.
he's had a career that like to be very proud of. I mean, he's not just like a character actor. He's done like
Oh yeah,
I think his best acting will probably go down as SLC Punk, unless like
yeah. I
'cause,
mean, I mean that's
that
his
really,
movie.
really is like in my opinion
Yeah.
great in that movie, like
Yeah.
on all fronts. But
There is a movie called Animal Room that I don't think a lot of people have seen with him and Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay.
Like I think it's like mid '90s, maybe like a year or two before Scream, and it's a weird fucking movie. Basically, Matthew Lillard is like bullying Neil Patrick Harris the whole time, while Neil Patrick Harris is just like doing acid and going to amusement parks.
He's also one of
Kinda
those
like-
character
Kind
actors
of
that
like Robert Pattinson in Good Time.
Kind of a little bit.
he's one of those character actors though that like adds to any movie. Like
Mhm.
like take like something that's like 13 Ghosts, which is a pretty like kind of like horror movie, but like take Matthew Lillard out of that and it's a kind of a dull movie aside from the ghosts, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he was also in
There's
that
like a
movie.
handful of movies you can say that about.
Wasn't he was in a was it a Clint Eastwood movie? He was in a baseball movie. I know that. Besides Summer Catch, he was in Summer Catch.
He was
But
in Summer Catch. Oh.
yeah, but it was like a later, like late
We'll go on this
2000, like late 2000s, early 2010s. I don't know. I don't think it was Moneyball, but I think it was like something like one of those type of like Oscar bait kind of.
I think
baseball
I know what you're talking about because like he has done like really good movies before. They
Yeah.
just unfortunately usually fly under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, Seth Green has had an interesting career. He's just been doing mostly voice acting. He does so much voice acting.
Yeah, and he
Um,
seems like he's doing good. So
Yeah,
like
Dak
Yes.
Shepard is the only one that like. I mean, honestly, for right now, I mean, Dak Shepard does a lot more like producing, and his wife acts probably enough for both
That
of
boy
them.
does whatever he wants now,
Yeah.
bro.
He's-
Like,
Yeah,
he's
'cause
living
married
off
to
that,
Kristen Bell, so he can do whatever.
living
yeah.
off that Kristen
They
Bell
both got
money.
money. He doesn't have to fucking be the idiot anymore, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I know that he's. I'm pretty sure his last movie was like the Chips remake, wasn't it?
Was that actually any good?
No, it sucked. It was awful.
I mean,
It's
Jesus
terrible.
Christ! Like I saw like one preview for it, and then it like disappeared from my radar.
Same.
And I like that other dude from that Michael Pena, like the.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
Michael Pena?
I
I mean, no, the
literally I never
actors
heard
were
anything
great.
about them.
The actors were great. It was a shitty script. It was
Yeah, there was just no reason to do it. They were
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
like,
like-
oh, look what they did for 21 Jump Street, but then they like totally bungled it. Kind
Or
of like,
Starsky and Hutch.
hey man, there's some good shit in Starsky and
Yeah,
Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch is good. I like
Oh,
it.
No, I'm saying, and also 21 Jump Street. I'm just saying that they're.
No, that's what I'm
didn't really
saying,
do very
like,
much of that.
They tried. I feel like they saw the success of like a 21 Jump Street, how they like did that but did it different, and they were like, you know what, let's try that with Chips.
Yeah,
Except it just sucked.
there was definitely a period of time where they were trying to get those like 70s and 80s like
No, they did Baywatch too.
yeah, and the Baywatch movie kind of sucked too.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like,
awful, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
great.
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
watch-
with
I
my
mean, it
dad
was
and my
watchable.
cousin. It wasn't that. It was
There are parts in it that are funny, but it's not consistent.
yeah.
Yeah, you
it's
can't
very-
call it a good movie, but there were I don't know parts, but it's very wildly forgettable.
Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah. So without a paddle,
Yes.
so the three friends get together. They decide to go camping. And, I don't even know where to start. I already know that I'm going to be bouncing around a lot. but
Is Steve Zahn in this?
Steve
Steve
Zahn?
Zahn? No.
What- No, what is that fucking movie with Steve Zahn then? Why does it remind me of Without a Paddle?
Saving Silverman? Isn't Steve
Are you
Zahn in
talking
Saving
about-
Silverman?
Are you talking about The Perfect Getaway?
No, I'm talking about like a comedy movie that's very similar to Without a Paddle.
Strange Wilderness.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Strange Wilderness.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
With the
Never mind. I got it confused. I thought
Very
Steve-
young.
the
young,
only memorable
um,
scene of Strange Wilderness is Steve Zahn like doing the dubbing of like a guppy shark like that would has like its teeth out of his mouth going like
Oh no, dude! Strange Wilderness is a weird movie. Like
It is
they
a weird.
basically they have like a turkey tries to like bite off Steve Zahn's dick in that movie.
It is a
Well,
weird
Strange-
fucking movie. And they
Strange
did a
Wilderness was an unfinished movie that they like released. That's why it's so like clunky and
It
like
feels
not
unfinished.
even really like almost like
Oh,
not
okay.
even really a movie because it's incomplete.
It's also got a very young Jonah Hill.
Never mind.
in that movie.
He's not in it. My fault.
Yeah, it's
I
got-
don't know
Great,
why.
had a great cast.
Yeah. But yeah. So I think Without a Paddle is very underrated. I think there's a lot of lines that are hilarious that just get so overlooked. Like when they go to Oregon and the three of them are like they get out of the car at like a gas station or whatever, and they see like this group of kids riding this gigantic pig, and like Seth Green is like, "Where are we?" And Matthew Lillard is like on the corner of bumfuck and you got a purty mouth, and I'm just like, it's one of my favorite fucking quotes of like any comedy movie, and I think it's so underrated. And they use their one fuck in a PG-13 movie for that joke, and it was great.
It's good. It was a good use of their fuck.
It was a perfect. I don't know. I love that joke. Um, downstairs became the term downstairs was like introduced to me from this movie.
Yeah.
When it was like look to the left and you can totally see your downstairs, and then at the very end of the movie, Dax Shepard is like recounting like the whole thing, and like this little like 8-year-old like boy like Cub Scout is like, one question, what's a downstairs? And it was just oh my god, it's so great. Ethan Suplee is in this movie, and him and can't remember the other guy's
I
name.
know the other guy you're talking about because he has a very recognizable face. His name is Abraham Ben Ruby.
That's a
He's
hell of
been
a
in,
Oh yeah.
he's been in a ton of. He has a actually me and Chris would know him recently from the Christmas horror movie Christmas Bloody Christmas, where he played the killer robotic Santa.
Oh
He
yeah.
has he has a very very recognizable face, so not somebody you would know like right off the bat name wise. So.
yeah. They are great bad guys. I love Ethan Suplee's character. I think he is like, I think
Love
he's
that
so funny. Like I love there's like the part where the two pot farmers are trying to hunt down Dax Shepard, Seth Green, and Matthew Lillard, and like Ethan Suplee like kind of like kneels down and like grabs like a twig and starts chewing on it, and the other guy is like, "What is it?" And Ethan Suplee is just like, "Cinnamon."
Well, look, there's a great scene with those two when they're hunting them down, and like it's after they have their little curl up in the cave moment, and
Mm-hmm.
the one dude, the bigger dude's like, it's like, come here with me, boy. He's like, come here with me, boy. He's like, they to get a better advantage point on their prey, they must have laid down right here.
Oh yeah.
My thoughts are they took they turn on the little one first, and
Yeah.
it's actually really funny. Like
It was so
some
funny.
side characters in this movie, to be
Well,
honest.
yeah, because going back to that scene where they have to like cuddle in the cave, and then Burt Reynolds shows up, and he's just like, "Freeze, perverts!" And Dax Shepard is just like, "If you're gonna rape anyone, rape Dano."
Yeah. Uh,
And then Burt Reynolds is like, "Did I ask you to talk?" And Dax Shepard's like, "No." And he's just like, "Now come with me, or I'll shoot his testicles off and stuff them, and then mount them, and then mount them on my mantelpiece."
oh god.
Dax Shepard's just gonna, he's just like, it's gonna be an
I need to
ugly
watch this whole
mantelpiece.
goddamn movie. This is great.
So funny.
Well, like also too, like there's a scene where Matthew, or the scene you're talking about, where like he's talking to Burt Reynolds. He's like, do you really know what it's like to spend 30 years in a cabin? He's like, no, but metaphorically, I feel
Oh
like,
yeah.
like,
Well,
and he's like,
metaphorically, do you know what it's like to
well,
spend
do
30
you
years in a cabin?
metaphorically feel like that? He's like, well, learn how to speak before,
Yeah.
or learn how to
Then
think
think
before you
before
talk.
you talk.
Like, yeah, like I think Burt Reynolds, especially like in Adam Sandler movies, or
Oh yeah.
The Longest Yard, I think like
He's
kind of had like a few like decent like little like comedic roles like that.
Yo,
I
In
think
there.
he was underrated.
Yeah.
as a person who's watched a few of the like early Burt Reynolds like 70s like 80s stuff, like I guess knowing kind of like, I mean, I can't say I know how people were in the 70s because I was not around, but like he was like that guy. Like that's like that that dude, he was cool then.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, he was
you see
cool
it like
all the way up until he died.
I've
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
the original Longest Yard, and he was fucking like he was amazing in that, dude.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't even just like straight comedy, like as like being serious and switching to comedy like back and forth in that movie. He killed it.
Well, I think one of my favorite early Burt Reynolds movies, which I think is really hilarious. That in Without a Paddle they make the "You Got a Pretty Mouth" references,
But
Oh,
Deliverance.
Deliverance,
Deliverance, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
he's
genuinely
they
good.
all like, I mean,
He's
obviously
And John Voight,
genuinely
yeah,
like
fucking
he's
great.
genuinely good in that.
Mhm.
yeah,
I
it
would
had
say like no,
nominations
like all
from the
bullshit
Academy,
aside,
so
but
clearly everybody like pretty much did a really good job. But yeah, Burt Reynolds,
Kills it.
like even his goofy
him
shit.
and
Like when I was a little kid, I used to like to watch Cannonball Run a lot, and now it'd probably be considered like way too goofy. But like, I mean, it is what it
well,
is. It's just a
how
fun
many
like
movies? How many movies have ripped off Cannonball Run though? To be
a
honest,
ton, a ton, a
like
ton.
yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of like like a pioneer in that.
But
Like
like that was like the humor was popular like that then. Like that humor and like an airplane or like all those movies that like hit you with the joke that you already get, but they wink at you also. Like
yeah,
those real like Naked Gun type comedy.
like yeah, Burt Reynolds
That
could
shit.
always be like the straight guy in like a kind of corny situation
Oh
and
yeah,
still like make it like believable.
yeah.
Yeah, dude,
I
absolutely.
feel like he's underrated, like a little.
He
He,
is very.
yeah, I mean, he was nominated for Boogie Nights, right? Like that was
Yeah,
kind of like
that was like
almost
his
like in
like
the
comeback.
twilight of his career. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of his comeback. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, he kind of had like a resurgence in like smaller roles, but
yeah.
he became a household name in like several decades, which is cool. The
Oh yeah.
70s, 80s, 90s, even like the early 2000s, like we were just talking about with a
Dude,
few Adam Sandler movies. Like,
didn't he do one of those like when they started doing all those like many ripoffs of Kindergarten Cop? You remember he was in one with like a little black kid?
oh, I remember the video cover because like the kid had like a pair of cuffs like over his eyes. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about, but I can't. Cop and a Half.
Cop
Is
and a
that what it
half.
is?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, all right, yeah. I think all I remember about that movie is two teenagers violently destroying the kid that they're bullying's mother's or grandmother's car, and then getting her like it was nothing. Like it was something
Yeah.
out of like a fucking Death Wish movie.
Wow.
But it was like a P. It's a that movie we're talking about is a PG movie, which is really random. Uh,
PG got a lot of like had a lot of leniency back in the day. It's weird.
apparently, dude, even going back to the early '90s.
You can see
And
titties in a PG movie back in the day.
yeah, but anyway, going back to Without a Paddle.
Um.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even really sure what else to say other than just this movie is so good. Like it's everything about it to me is just it's so lighthearted. It is so easy to watch. It's so like you can turn your brain off and just watch it. It's short. It's like barely an hour and a half long. Like,
Yeah,
and it goes super fast. It's got like the only good Bubba Sparks song like ever.
Oh yeah.
Um, like the only song by Bubba Sparks that I like. Um,
love this.
it's
You don't like this?
Remember
You don't
that
like
guy?
this new booty?
I don't know. I think Mr. Booty is so fucking annoying. Um,
That's weird.
um, I think like there's again there's like the scene where like it was in all the previews and trailers for the movie where like the three of them are on the canoe or the kayak or whatever, and like Seth Green's character like points out the deer and he's just like, look at deer right out in the like right out in the open, and the deer just like bares its teeth at Seth Green, and like Matthew Lillard and Dax Shepard have no idea what's going on. And I love that like Seth Green's like looking around and their faces like the way that Matthew Lillard and Dak Shepard's faces look is like, we saw that, but we're not gonna give you the satisfaction of knowing that we saw that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, dude, know what's cool about that too is it seems like they're doing like it's actually them in the kayak going down like a
oh,
rapid.
for sure, it is
Like
definitely them.
it's like definitely all three of them, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the, well, I wasn't in Boy Scouts, but Tom, you were in Boy Scouts, right? And Tom was just like, no, but I ate a brownie once.
He's like standing up to the sheriff like in his face and shit.
So
Dude,
good.
know what I love too though? That scene where like the Native American guy that's giving him their boat, like he's like kind of like talking shit to him. He's like, because they're like celebrating by like breaking like a fucking bottle over its eye. It's like, hey, thanks for breaking glass where my kids play.
Yeah, that was funny. When they first meet the sheriff, and the sheriff is like his teeth are all fucked up, and he's just like, "What are you boys doing?" And Dax Shepard is just like, "We're just passing through. Looks like someone ordered a pair of teeth." And the sheriff is just like, "What?" And Dax Shepard is just like, "Tasers. Someone ordered tasers." And the sheriff is just like, "Oh, okay." And Dax Shepard just kind of like stares at him for a second. He's just like, "Anyways." It's just like those little things like that where they're just assholes to each other. Um, like at the end of the movie, Matthew Lillard has like this awesome monologue to the sheriff when he's talking about Ethan Suplee and the other guy, and he's just like, I've learned a lot these last couple of days being being chased by ass faced and dick shit over there. It's just like I love all those little, just the way that they interacted is like you can tell that all of these people had a great time filming this movie and are all just like actually friends in real life. And it's like
Yeah,
I
I
think
think that
that shows more than anything else is just that they were just laughing the whole
For
time.
sure. For
well, I
sure.
think it's even in that fight scene at the end where it goes like to like a full on brawl between Dak Shepard and Matthew Lillard and the two guys that are hunting them, Ethan Suplee and
Mhm.
the other dude. Like there's a scene where they're all struggling on the ground and Seth Green from above is like,
Oh, yeah.
I found a hand grenade. And
And
he's
they're
like
all
about
just like, no.
all four of them are like, no, 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 don't do that.
Um,
It's actually a really funny scene.
I love when uh Matthew Lillard and Dak Shepard are trying to give Seth Green the courage to like crawl out of like this like mine shaft or whatever. And so they're singing, "Do you really want to hurt me?" And so like as they're singing, you can
I
hear
know
like
what
throughout
you're
the
talking
woods.
about.
And the other guy with Ethan Suplee is like, "I think the hills have gone gay."
It's like he's singing though. He's like, "Yes, I really want to hurt you.
Yeah,
Yes, I really want to make you cry." It's like it's actually really fucking funny.
it's funny. It's so great.
I remember laying in bed like falling asleep because I was super tired, and that scene came on and it made me laugh my ass off, dude.
It's great.
Uh, so I mean, final thoughts on this, and we'll get into the rest of this. Like
Yeah,
final, I can't give final thoughts. I have seen this movie before. I told Mark before we started,
yeah.
but like I almost remember none of it. So I was really looking forward to watching this, but it was fucking up. So I watched about 20 minutes of it and then I couldn't. But I really want to watch it now because
Um,
I was enjoying myself already. It's like 20 minutes in.
I just love this movie. I've always loved this movie. I've always thought it was such an underrated comedy. I think more people should watch it. I think it's one of the easiest comedies to watch. There's a couple of things that definitely don't age all that well because this movie
Sure.
is, 2003, 2004.
It was
Comedy
like 20 years
is
ago.
different. Um, but yeah, it's just a good movie, and I definitely think that I should definitely give it a shot. Just one night, super easy to watch. As I said, it's barely an hour and a half. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Corey?
I'd agree. Same thing. Really fun movie. Odd thing about this movie, the first cinema class I ever took was in my senior year of high school, and my teacher, like he was like a big, heavy, like awesome fucking teacher. He was like a big, heavy dude, like not like the whale like heavy, but like pretty big. But his he a local theater had recently closed, and he got two posters from like because he knew the guy. He got the poster for Eddie Murphy's Doctor Doolittle and the poster for this movie, and I remember clearly both being like crudely like posted on the wall in this on this cinema class. It was like a cool class though. So
It's
if you
cool.
ever can't, but yeah, dude, like Mark said, like just harmless watch, dude. Like if you go in like just expecting a fun movie, you probably won't be disappointed because that's what it is. It's a really fun movie.
yeah,
So this is like a movie that I don't feel like a lot of people talk about. And there are other ones like comedies in general that are like this. Um, so I guess we're gonna talk about like lesser known comedies that are pretty good that probably deserve more credit.
yeah.
Um, Mark, you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess the first movie that just kind of comes to mind isn't even really that good of a movie. It's a movie that's really only remembered for a song, and I think people remember the song a lot more than they remember the movie, and that is Euro Trip.
Okay, yeah, dude.
I, dude,
Actually, there's a few parts of this movie I gotta say I definitely remember and definitely
I,
have some like opinions on.
I
But yeah,
still quote,
perfect choice. Perfect choice.
I still quote this from time to time, and the only thing I quote from it is that guy on the train. He's like, "A scootsy, a
Excuse me,
scootsy."
dude. No, dude. I say that every. I work in a, or we all worked in kitchens before,
Yeah.
but like I definitely say that all the time and get weird looks from time to time by going like "scoozy" instead of like.
Sometimes I end it too. I'm like, somebody be like, "Oh, my bad." I'm like, "Grazie."
Sometimes I give them shoulder rubs, like it's.
Yeah, Euro Trip is just a weird movie. It has, I think, just again, it's a song that has way surpassed the movie as Scotty doesn't know. So many people know that song, but have no idea where it's from.
Yeah,
Dude, like
yeah.
talk about a victim of your own catchiness. And
Yeah.
not only that, but it's Matt Damon's not doesn't sing it, but Matt Damon performs it in the movie,
I mean, it's a
which I
good
think like,
fucking song too. Like it's actually a
dude, it's
good
good.
song. It's a
It's a
really
good
good song.
it's
It's
a
fun.
good pop punk song. It
It's
really
so
is.
catchy.
It's right up there with Stacy's Mom has got it going on in
Oh,
terms of
it's better
you
than
know.
Stacy's mom. I'm tired of
Oh,
hearing.
oh
I
come on,
hear
man.
Stacy's
Yeah.
mom like every day at work. I'm so sick of hearing that
Oh, right.
fucking song.
He's
Wow,
like, don't.
big fans
I
of the
just
co-op
triggered.
market,
I
eh?
just triggered Mark with Stacy's mom.
Yeah, I'm just like, God damn it.
God damn it! Don't talk about her.
Um, I like the scene in Euro Trip where they do Absinthe and Michelle Trachtenberg and her twin brother start like making out with each other, and then
The
Scotty
invisible
and his
fairy.
friend have been like also drinking, and like the little like hallucination they have like floats over them, and he's just like, "What the fuck? This is fucked up."
He's like,
And
hey.
they're just like,
He's like, hey,
"Yeah,
can you say what the fuck did I do last night?
you
It's
made
like,
out with your sister, dude."
oh, dude, there are some
That's
genuinely
definitely.
funny parts of that movie. The whole scene on the beach where I don't
The
know,
nude
like
beach.
I was laughing hysterically at that scene the first time I saw it.
Yeah, that one's good. I like when like he he dresses up as the Pope, and
Oh
he
yeah.
makes the entire Vatican believe that the Pope died and that they just found a new Pope in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. They're like the Pope is dead. It's like, oh
Yeah,
no, they found a new Pope. It's
yeah.
like
And
this
then
is
they
one
cut to the
crazy
Pope,
Pope.
and he's just like, "What the hell?"
Oh,
It's a good
God
movie.
damn.
And then Scotty and Mika end up having sex in a confessional, which I'm always 100% for.
Yeah. I don't like
Like, if somebody wants to do a little something in the confessional.
there's a blonde dude in
Well,
this
no,
movie
because
that I thought was really funny
Mark,
too.
Mark,
I've
is
never
this
seen anything else.
no,
Hold on,
that's
Mark, is this your dream of some sort? Is this a kink?
no, no. It's one of my favorite scenes because in the movie it's like this like sweet little old lady like sits down and she's just like, "Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been however long." And then all you see is just these like ass cheeks slamming against the fucking wall.
Oh yeah, just but here's the thing. I like the friend in it that like
This isn't where I
plays like
parked my car.
he almost plays like the fucking Dax Shepard character from the Without a Paddle and only in this movie. I've
Hmm.
never seen this dude in anything else, but he's actually really funny in here. The scene where like because he thinks that his pen pal has been a guy this whole time, then he finds out it's been like this beautiful woman,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's like, I'm in love with Mika or whatever, and he's like his friend just hears this, he's like, it's like, all right, okay, we're having the talk. And he like sits
Oh
down with him.
yeah, like he just
He's like, I
knew it.
get it. He's like, it's like sometimes he's the chick, sometimes you're the chick. Hey, sometimes you're both the chick. it's, like, it's like a really good fucking. There's like really funny parts of this.
It's a
And
good.
that scene on the beach where they're being chased by like a fucking mob of like naked middle-aged European men, and like the one dude falls down. He's like, "I'm not gonna make it. Go on without me." And like the blonde dude's like, "All right, we'll see ya." And then just like,
Yeah.
There are some really funny parts of that movie.
Yeah,
but-
it's a funny movie.
definitely.
But yeah, that's my I guess that's my like first like not necessarily like a B movie, but like it's got kind of that like A minus B plus tier kind of to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
The is also like the first movie it almost made me nervous about taking edibles for the first time too, because that scene where the guy and Michelle Trachtenberg's character, like they take, it turns out there's nothing in them, but like they take marijuana edibles or marijuana brownies, I think it is. Yeah, and they end up they end up fucking like tripping, even though like there's nothing in them, and like the trip like ends like immediately, like, but it made me think like, oh, that's what's gonna happen if you take like, just something like marijuana edibles.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Never trust the movies when it comes to drugs.
Oh God,
Yeah,
no.
especially this movie. It's like Mark said though, like crazy how much that song has like
Yeah,
overshadowed the actual movie.
for sure.
Again, like it's at least the song got some notoriety out of it.
And it's such a good fucking song.
And
It is. It's a really, really like fun, catchy, like pop
Scotty
punk
does
or
it.
pop punk song.
That Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. Such a good fucking song.
Scotty doesn't know, Scott.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So don't
Good
tell
song.
Scotty.
Scotty doesn't know that his girl's a hoe.
That one,
All right, so one of you guys wanna movie?
Actually, think one I actually already mentioned to Mark. Something we can all probably relate to, and I know it's a movie we've all seen. The movie Waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all
Most
worked in
accurate
restaurants before.
representation of a restaurant worker.
I mean, we've
Restaurant
all
worker.
showed each other our balls
hold
before.
on.
I mean, it's
I
come on.
don't-
I mean, we've all
Hold on now. Hold on before we call it a real accurate depiction.
I'm not saying that we're like showing
Chris,
each
my
other like
guy,
our
Chris, you
balls.
have
I have
shown your
never-
balls to
Sir,
every
I've
male you've
never-
ever seen. Come on, man.
I've never taken my balls and shaped them into the bat wing and
I
showed them.
have
someone.
written proof to the contrary. All right.
Oh
I'm just
well.
saying, man.
No, I'm not
I'm
saying
just
that.
saying,
But
I'm
like,
not saying there's gonna be a 48 hours written about you, or
but like the frustration that like the cooks have
Yeah.
when like tickets come in, the frustration that the servers have with like the shitty customers. It's like
Yep.
that
That's
is
very real.
100%
That's
a
very real.
perfect.
That's
it's
very real.
it's
Yeah.
a cinematic take on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
they
yeah,
definitely
because like
take
no one's
liberties.
actually like putting like their pubes and like shredding their
Yeah,
like,
we're not
fucking
doing that.
lice
Yes.
in that.
Yeah,
no.
there's not, dude. That's like sociopathic behavior. What
No,
they do.
yeah.
You want to know? Do you want to know what's weird? Is that's like the question that always comes up when people talk to me about what I do. They're like, "Yo, do you do anything fucked up to people's food?" I was like,
No, dude. Like,
I've seen people I completely hate walk into a restaurant I work at. I was like, I just know that I wouldn't want that done to me for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I would never ever do that to somebody's food.
I honestly think like Uber drivers do more to people's food than a cook ever would.
That's
Like,
possible.
because dude, again, like I've worked, like you've worked in kitchens your whole. We all like have worked in kitchens. Like I've never met one person who's like, "Hey, man, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna like do this to this person's food." Like that's never happened once.
I've never encountered that, even with other people. Like I've never seen people like do.
Yeah, nothing like nothing like malicious to somebody's like.
My
food.
biggest
That's
problem
never
is just
happened.
other people that suck. I don't know.
And don't, I think it has more to do with like, I think whoever wrote this movie has definitely or wrote and directed it has worked in kitchens before, and like is just kind of fantasizing about what
Oh
they
yeah.
would do.
Oh, it's
I think
100% a
that's
fantasy.
Yeah.
I think at the heart of it, everything that happens in that movie has happened to somebody that works in the food industry. But then they take the other stuff and they just turn it up over the top shit for
Yeah.
like just to be fucking funny. Like
Oh, yeah, like that scene where like they accidentally drop something on the ground and like he's just like 5-second rule, and I think it's Dane Cook is just like, "Who? Good thinking. We almost had to go to the 10-second rule." And it's like just little shit like that. Like I love it.
Little shit like that, but
movie.
still.
I love that joke. It's like, oh shit, it almost had to make it to 10-second
Yeah.
rule.
It's a great joke.
Yeah.
Um,
It was good.
waiting
Well,
is awesome. I love
The
waiting.
most accurate part to me was the part where they're watching the clock and it's like they're only open for 15 more minutes, and then that one couple comes in.
Oh my
Even though they're
god, dude.
like Dane
Yes.
Cook does it the best. He's like taking the cutting board and
Yep.
smacking it like that, like
Yep.
up and down, like why?
And that is
here's the thing.
100% accurate.
It doesn't
That,
here.
yeah.
It kind of accurately portrays like how frustrated or how frustrated cooks get, in the sense that, like, okay, you're constantly moving for like 8 to 9 hours at a time, but then you have to backtrack, you have to rewind, like, you know what I mean, like in terms of
Mhm.
either your side work or
Well,
what you're
yes,
cooking
yes.
whenever somebody does that.
You're
So
looking at it.
I actually did appreciate that about
You're
it.
looking at it like I've pretty much broken everything down so I could just fucking leave when the clock strikes whatever time, and
Yeah, and
somebody
all it takes is that one person.
2 minutes
Even
before you close, and you got to fucking dirty up something that you already fucking cleaned.
And even
It,
like the host in that scene, she's like, "Well, I guess
Oh,
we're
she
still
feels
open."
so
And the guy's like,
bad.
"Great."
She
Yeah.
feels so bad. And it's like that. I remember specifically like in when I lived in Virginia and I worked at this like Italian place. And like I remember like we would be closed, basically like closed, like everything would be shut down, dishwasher would be almost done, the garbage would be taken out, floors are already like mopped and everything. And it would be like 9:57 or 8:57 or whatever, like right before we closed, and someone would come in and be like, "Yeah, can I just order like one like 12-inch like pizza?" And we just be like, "Are you like fucking
Oh, dude,
really,
yeah.
dude? The ovens are off." Like just all the
Or,
time. That would happen a lot. So I
or dude, the worst is they'll call you an asshole for not, like, just turn the oven on and, like, stay for an extra half hour, like, you know what
or
I
you're
mean?
like, or they're like, or like the person will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're closed," and they're like, "Well, it's 9:59."
yeah, like you guys are still open for like 2 more minutes.
Well,
It's like, well,
technically, I
you can
made
get the
it.
fuck out.
I mean, really, you're the bad guy in this situation. So what the fuck?
Yeah, well, I mean, you
You
can
know,
clearly tell the
these
people that
people
like have
know,
never
and
worked in food service
know,
before.
these people know they're being fucking assholes.
Yeah.
You pull up,
Oh, here's the
all right.
thing.
So I've done this before. I pull up, I'm like, "Oh shit, we should go here," and then we'll just like pull in. You pull in and you park. You can see the hours on the door, or you walk up to the door, and it'll be like, I've literally said this. Looked at the time they closed, and been like, "Hey, I don't want to be that guy,"
Yeah.
and just be like, "All right, I'll find something else to eat."
Yeah.
Or
I
just
got a
have
30-minute
attention.
before closing rule. If it's 30 minutes before closing or like sooner, I'm not going in.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
almost
because
like
they're sitting down. Yeah,
I mean, it's just smart thinking, because it's like, oh fuck, I might piss this guy up or piss whoever's like making my stuff. You
Yeah.
never.
I
I'm just
mean,
saying,
again,
like,
this
none
is
of us
coming
have
from the
ever
mind
like
of
messed
people
with
that
it.
have worked in the food service industry. So it's like we understand that. I can understand if someone say like maybe like
it's
my
common
brother
fucking
who
sense,
like
even if you never worked in the food industry. It's like common sense.
Well,
It like have some decency.
you'd
it's
think
yeah,
so, but honestly,
it's a common
No, they
decency.
don't. I know.
they
I
don't.
already know. I work in the food industry.
Yeah,
There's no such thing
they
as
don't.
decent coming
But
from
here's the thing too, like,
outside the workers. Like,
Yeah, I like you both know my little pet name for customers like that. So,
yes,
yeah,
so
inaccurate. Not an inaccurate name, by the way.
oh no, for sure. I
Very
love that
very
name.
spot on, actually.
I will
Mark.
call.
Mark was the best. Like, there was no like Mark. Mark. There was no hiding it from Mark. Mark didn't like make a face or like just like quiet. Mark would be like, "What a bunch of fucking pieces of shit! I hope they jump in the fucking road and get hit."
Yeah, bro, fucking
Like
ditch
loud as
monsters.
hell.
I hope Ash comes here and kills all you like you deserve, you fucking abominations.
Fucking ditch monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, the dick.
Like, dude, like, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like inaccurate though. Like, when you're getting, here's the thing: being a line cook, very little time for anything as much as like a smoke break or a bathroom break or anything, because you are constantly moving. It's not, I'm not saying like servers aren't constantly moving, but
Right.
you're in a miserable hot environment where you're basically busting your ass, and you know that, it comes with the territory, so can't really complain. But still, like 5 6 hours into your shift and you still have people coming in like, like with stupid smiles on their
Just
face. It's
ready
like,
to
it
stuff
reminds me of
food down their fucking gullets. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you smiling about? Like, fuck off. Like, come on. Are most people
I've learned
on their way from their job right now? Like, dude, I totally have had those moments before.
I've
Absolutely.
learned like I still get frustrated, but I've learned that like if my style, my way of doing my job is the goal is for me to make their food so fast they just like get out.
Yeah.
Like let if there's a ton of people there, like I want to cook this food as fast as possible to get them all gone. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
I
yeah, when
take
this,
the
especially like
negativity.
when the screen fills up all at once. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I take that like the negative of that where I could be like, God damn it, why all these fucking people keep coming in? I take the negativity of that and like, well, all right, let's get them the fuck out.
oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I bust my ass to get them the fuck out. Like
Well, I
they're
think that's
like,
what
oh, you're
any
really.
cook. Well, that's
Everybody's like, you're
what
really good at
any.
your. They're like, you're really good at your job. Like, yeah, I just want them to fuck off.
Well,
Like,
that's what any cook's team should do. Like, you know what I mean? Like any kitchen staff that actually is a team, not just
sure,
calling itself a team, should
Yeah.
do.
absolutely.
Back to the subject though of the movie. Waiting. Uh, Another really funny part of this movie. The Through the background of this movie, Ryan Reynolds is training this dude Mitch. He's the dude from Freaks and Geeks. He was like a very small kid on that, and has one of the best movie freakouts in movie history. At the
Oh yeah,
very
at the
end,
end, yeah.
where he basically puts every character in their place. Cool thing about this dude, you know what movie he recently actually directed? Was that Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, very really, really fun movie too, dude. Not gonna
Okay,
lie. I'd never given a shit about Dungeons and Dragons, but this
that
was
looks
like
pretty fun.
it was on like a level with like Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion.
All
Like
right,
I never gave a shit about that property before I saw the movie. So
right.
both were really, really fun, funny, like kind of like popcorn movies. But no, like he's training this dude the entire movie, and he basically like puts everyone in their place in one of the best like fucking bitch out scenes and like or bitches everyone else out scenes in
Yeah.
cinematic history, I would say. Like he's like, "Fuck you, Monty." Always, he's like, "Yeah, we get it. You're the coolest guy at shenanigans. That's like being the coolest or the smartest person with Down syndrome." And he's like he looks at the lady who's been like a bitch, like kind of like a complete like bitch to everybody the whole movie. He's like, change your tampon and have another drink, you fucking bitch. Like he basically like destroys them all. uh
So
and
great.
yeah, dude, honestly, like there's if you've ever worked in a restaurant and have never seen this movie, you are deriving yourself, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
It's Justin Long being the straight man for the entire movie. Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is like kind of like a cocky douchebag the whole movie, which is really funny.
I mean, he's just
And a
doing the
Ryan
fast.
Reynolds
he's
playing a
just doing the
cocky
Ryan
douchebag? No.
Reynolds special, bro. He's doing the
Yeah,
Van Wilder on
Yeah.
everything.
yeah. He's
Dude,
really like Van Wilder after college. That's
dude, a
what
really, really good cast of this movie. Anna
Yeah,
Faris
great
great
has been in
cast. Yeah.
it too.
Great cat.
David Koechner
Um,
playing the
Louise
asshole manager.
Guzman.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like,
Yeah, it's a great cast.
yeah, nobody doesn't really stand out. Like, even like the
Andy
I don't know his name,
Milonakis.
like the guy who can't piss.
Andy Milonakis, baby.
Oh
Mm,
That's
yeah,
boy, I love Andy.
that's a little staple in time there. That
oh
Andy
yeah.
Milonakis was in this.
Um, yeah. No, Waiting is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
really fun movie.
I guess mine would be a little movie by the minds of the whitest kids you know, and it's called Miss March.
Okay,
I don't know if anybody else has seen this.
I've seen it.
It's just
I
it's
actually owned
ridiculous.
it first time.
Yeah, me too. Huh. It's ridiculous, but like it's from the guys of the whitest kids you know. So like if you know who's making the movie, I would imagine you find it a lot more funny if that's your sense of humor. Like
Yeah.
it's basically this dude like and his friend and they're just trying to hunt down this Miss March from a Playboy magazine and like one of the most
Well,
memorable thing from this movie is Tracy Morgan being a character named Horse Dick Mpeg, and he's a rapper that fucking
it's what's his name? The dude from Hot Tub Time Machine. The big
Oh, never mind. It's not Tracy Morgan. It's
fuck,
fucking Craig
why is his
Robinson.
name
Craig
not coming?
Robinson. My bad. I haven't watched this movie in a while, but it's
Dude,
Craig
same here.
Horse Dick MPeg is his rap name, and he has like a horse dick. That's
He basically has no dick by the end. It's like that.
oh yeah.
That reveal at the end. Holy shit! I remember almost being like, because I watch a lot of horror movies, and that kind of mortified me a little bit when they showed it. They're like, he has no genitalia, and his friends pull down. It's just like two metal like sticks down there. It's like, oh god.
Fun fact: one of the main one of the two main actors is Zach Cregger's, and he is the director of the movie Barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty underrated comedy. I don't think anybody really talks about it. I mean, it's not like nothing like stands out. It's your run of the mill like fucking raunch comedy. Like I like some comedies work that way. Like even though it's the same formula. Like I like this movie. I like a movie with Jay Baruchel called The Girl Next Door.
Love that.
yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Just shit like that, dude. Like there's a lot of like clones of successful movies, and then some of those clones are actually pretty fucking funny.
Wait, was that Jay Baruchel in The Girl Next Door, or are you thinking of She's Out of My League?
She's
yeah,
okay, that's one.
Yeah. The Girl Next Door has
that's Alicia Cuthbert, and I don't know who the guy is though.
I don't remember who the guy is either. Okay,
the girl next door is Emil.
I'm batting 1,000 tonight.
The girl next door is Emil Hirsch and Elijah Cuthbert.
Cuthbert, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Emil Hirsch, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the other one is the Jay Baruchel one. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I really like Jay Baruchel. Like, he's in
great.
Goon also.
Like
Man Seeking Woman. If you guys ever watched that show, that was a great fucking show.
He is just ridiculous. He is so ridiculous in Goon. It's amazing. I just love him.
I like him more in the first. Here's the thing. I did like Goon too. I like what he did with it. I definitely like him more in the first one though.
Yeah, same.
That scene where like he's like hosting the show and those guys just keep calling in to fuck with him. Like he's like they called him. He's like, do I want to suck 100 dicks at once or do I want like 10 dicks a month for like 10 months? Like he's genuinely. I think he has like an eye for like filmmaking too.
Oh yeah,
he's like very funny in like everything I've seen him in. But yeah, the movie you're talking about though, Miss March. There's a funny scene too where they pick up two like incredibly beautiful women on the road, and they're like, "We need two people to drive while we make out or whatnot," and like they're both like looking in the rear view, and they end up like crashing the car into a pole, and then it's like, yeah, sorry, it won't happen again. And then like it shows them doing it again, and they end up like crashing into another. It's stupid, but that scene was actually pretty fucking funny. And again, like like the other three movies we mentioned, or the other two movies we mentioned, yeah, like there's some forgettable aspects, but sometimes convention works in these kind of movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you look for that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, it's like when finding convention in a comedy is like finding convention in a horror movie. It's like, yeah, like, okay, it's like very common, but sometimes it's a very good thing. Sometimes it's very entertaining. So, the more the merrier.
You guys, I mean, do you want to just like, I don't really have a ton, but if you want to, if you guys want to rapid fire.
Yeah, I got one that I just want to say really quickly. At some point, I know that we will do an episode on this fucking movie because it's amazing. Is a very, very unknown little comedy from the 90s starring three guys called Brain Donors. And I fucking love Brain Donors so much. Like, no one knows about it, and it upsets me to no end.
I'm one of those people that doesn't.
It's such a good movie. I don't think Chris and I knew this movie, except when Chris and I were doing our Batman episode, I mentioned John Turturro and Brain Donors, and Chris is just like, wait, you've seen that movie? And I was just like, yeah.
John Turturro, like, what's the movie actually about?
No, I literally know like one other person that has ever spoken to me about this movie.
You were the
Like,
only other person that I know.
It was crazy.
What's it actually about though? I feel like I'm gonna watch this and feel stupid for asking that question.
No. It's okay. And there's these three main characters. It's a lot like
The Marx Brothers.
it's a lot like, yeah, they're very, very, you can absolutely tell they're very influenced by the Marx Brothers. And it's kind of like Marx Brothers Three Stooges-esque comedy, but it's about somebody, this guy dies and they somehow end up like in this fucking scheme to like,
Try and take over this like ballet company.
yeah, it's like a ballet, yeah, they're doing like Swan Lake. There's like a really fucking pompous fucking prima donna star.
The great Volare.
There's like slime ball people, but like the jokes, bro. All right, I'll give you an example. My favorite fucking joke in this movie is when he's like talking shit to this guy outside, and he's like, "Hey, why don't we step outside and handle this like men?" He's like, "We are outside." He's like, "All right, why don't we go inside and handle this like women?"
Or are you afraid, Leslo? And then he's just like, "I'm twice the man you are," and John Turturro is just like, "So is she," and it's driving me mad.
Dude, John, anything John Turturro.
They're like fucking flying around each room, like they're like the with the girl from the thing, and they're like fucking in and out of each room, like just fucking switching it up, dude. It's really like old school fucking comedy. But
there's a scene where like the three of them impersonate surgeons, and they come into like this room, and they're just like they're doing all this stuff, and then they put ether. They like hook this one person up to ether, and John Turturro is just like, "You say ether, and I say either, ether, while he's just like knocking this guy out cold.
Well, yo, yes, Corey, this movie is fucking, dude.
Here's the thing: there is no bad John Turturro.
No.
Like, he's one of those actors.
True.
Whether it's comedy, whether it's drama, there is no bad John Turturro.
It's amazing.
There's only good John Turturro.
It's amazing, and John Turturro is talking a mile a minute in this.
Yeah,
movie. Like
dude,
I
think he's crazy. I think he's crazy underrated for comedy, John Turturro, because he is great. Like in the Batman, like in every like dramatic role, yeah, dude, he's great. But like when it comes to comedy, dude, he's genuinely really fucking funny.
Yeah,
dude.
Everything.
Yeah, Brain Donors is just, it's a movie that everyone should watch. Again, it's a very short movie. It's what, like 85 minutes, something like that. And like the first like 8 minutes of it is like a claymation opening credit sequence.
Yes.
It's just such a good movie.
You should watch it. You should absolutely watch
that. Yeah. So yeah, we can just rapid fire off a couple of movies or whatever.
All right, go ahead, Corey.
I'm gonna go with a movie I mentioned before, Hot Tub Time Machine. Again, this movie is, I almost called it recent, even though it came out like 13, 14 years ago. A bunch of middle-aged guys get in a hot tub, travel back in time to 1985 or 1986. Again, very goofy movie. People don't really talk about it very much. I think it was just kind of like met with like reception when it came out. I don't know. I kind of like it though. Like, to be quite honest, I like the cast in it. I like some of the lines in it. What do you call it? It's the last good John Cusack movie I can think of. Guy.
Was he really, like, after that? It's weird because I feel like he wasn't in a lot.
Dude, I think he was. Even what he was in, it seemed like he was like, I don't give a shit.
Did 1408 come out before or after that?
Before. I think it came out
before,
like 5 years before.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before.
What about that movie Grand Piano? Did that come out before or after?
Maybe before.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, like 1408, I know what you're talking about because he seemed on point in 1408. I think he's great in 1408. That's actually, like, honestly, like one of the better Stephen King adaptions. Someone who's like a big fan of the short story and like a fan of the movie.
Yeah.
In this movie, like, it's not that he's not bad, but like he seems like he's like almost like there on vacation, and it kind of works for his role because his character is supposed to be fucked up.
Yeah.
Um, because he's playing somebody who like got whose ex or his girlfriend dumped him, and in the process of being dumped, she stabbed him in the fork with or stabbed him in the eye with a fork. Uh, and he's like he ends up like writing like love poetry and taking all like these different drugs. One of my favorite running jokes in this movie though is the bellhop who in the 1980s was like very friendly and whatnot, but when they go there in modern times, like his arm is missing and he's a complete asshole. And like Rob Corddry is like one of the four guys in this, and like
Yeah.
just like throws their luggage on the floor. And he's like, "All right, give me a tip now." Like he's like, but Rob Corddry's like, "What? We're supposed to like be nice to this guy because he can't fucking form a round of applause." It's so fucking mean. What do you call it though? Have you either you guys ever seen this movie or
Nope. I
Hot Tub
have.
Time Machine?
I
Hot
have.
Tub Time Machine? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it like 3 times. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's again like it's not like a very well known
I mean,
movie, but like yeah,
they made a sequel, so it's somewhat successful. I
the
know that.
sequel I've never seen it, but I've heard it's like unwatchable. Again though, this movie it's very it's very silly. Like Chevy Chase is in it. I think this is right before he went on Community.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and again, like I like Chevy Chase on Community, and I like his like early work, but he is like sleepwalking through this movie. Like he's supposed to be like the, they go back in time. He's supposed to be like the, like the one that knows what's going on. Like
yeah.
I don't know, like the fucking Mother Isabel or whatever. But he's like
Doc Brown.
he
He's the
seems
Doc
like he's
Brown.
out of it like the entire movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
like he's like the one guy even questions. It's like, are you the wise like fucking like time traveling guide or whatever? And like even like Chevy Chase seems like somebody had to like escort him like to set to like just to like have him read his lines.
yeah,
Uh, I again like I love Chevy Chase, but not very good in this. Everything else though in this movie kind of works. I like the interaction between the. I think Rob Corddry's really funny in it.
yeah. Rob
He
Corddry.
plays again like a guy who got his ass kicked and then like has to like relive that like as a grown ass or like a middle aged man that he like never like fought back or whatnot. There's a funny scene with the guy from Cobra Kai, Billy Zabka, where he's in a Rob Corddry's in a poker game with him in the '80s, and he's like he bets that like like it's like, hey man, if I win this or if I win like this bet on this fucking football team on TV that your girlfriend has to give me a blowjob, and then like he uh Billy Zabka like bets back. It's like, all right, like if I win, like your friend there has to give you a blowjob.
Oh
Is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he's like fucking his girlfriend, Billy Zabka's girlfriend, is like she's like, wait a minute, you said you were gonna take me out dancing, and Billy Zabka's like, yeah, I also said shut the fuck up. Do you remember that? So like shut the fuck up. There's like some really funny lines in this movie. And
My
Rob Corddry, like as they're waiting for like the result of the game, Rob Corddry's like, "Hey man, or he looks at the girl. He's like, "Hey, I'm really good at getting blowjobs. So like, you're not gonna be disappointed." There's a
my
again, like I can understand people not seeing this movie, so or forgetting about it. But again, it's like every other movie we mentioned. It's
yeah.
it falls into that category. So that
My
is
other, I
that is
think,
my pick.
I think my final is gonna be Stealing Harvard with Jason Lee and Tom Green.
Great movie.
Oh, okay, okay.
This movie makes me laugh a lot,
It's a
and
good.
like I still quote it. Like there's like this dumb scene where it's okay. So this movie is like uh Jason Lee and Tom Green and Jason Lee's girlfriend essentially are like trying to rob his girlfriend's dad who owns like a car dealership or a bank or something like that. But there's a scene where he's like getting dressed to like rob him, and he's wearing like all black, and she's like, "What are you wearing all black for?" He's like, "Johnny Cash, baby." Like sometimes when I put my black dress shirt on, I say that to myself. But there's a really funny scene in the beginning because like Jason Lee kind of has it together. He lives with his girlfriend or whatever, and Tom Green's just like his fucking goofy friend who like won't grow up, and the girlfriend hates him. And they're like yelling from the street to the window to his girlfriend, and she's like freaking out on Tom Green, and she's like, "You're an asshole," and he's like, "Casserole?" She's like, "No, I said asshole." He's like, "Well, I heard casserole." It's just, dude, it's very underrated. Like I'm not sure it did well,
It did.
but like it was on TV a lot,
Yeah.
and it's fucking hilarious. Like,
Well, I mean, it fits like exactly what we're talking about, though. Like,
yeah,
the
Yeah.
kind of movies that like you saw a trailer for and never maybe actually rented or would go out to the theaters to see,
right,
but ended
Yeah.
up like finding its own kind of audience.
yeah, for
'Cause I
sure.
remember the movie that you're talking about. Is there a scene where like Jason Lee gets like fucking like some like guy like makes him dress up like a woman or something and
Oh yeah.
yeah, like, okay, yeah. I definitely remember the trailer. You're talking about.
Yeah.
love it.
So we do only have 3 minutes left.
Okay.
So
Wrap it up, B.
yeah, so we gotta wrap it up. So yeah,
That
this was the film section.
This happened.
This was fun. This is a
Yeah.
fun one.
There's visual
was-
proof that this happened.
Yeah, this was a good episode. Next week we're talking about something. I don't know. Watch
we'll
our
figure it
videos.
out.
Something.
We'll figure it
We
out.
might be talking
Yeah.
politics. We might
In the
be talking
meantime-
about Trump getting indicted next week. We might even
No,
not
we're
even
not.
talking about movies.
I
No,
have no interest in
we're
talking
we're
about
definitely
that.
not gonna do that.
I've
We are
no-
talking about that next week.
Oh,
That is
well,
I
right.
have no interest. Yeah, you are about to record a podcast by yourself then, because I'm not recording
unless
that.
they make a
Mark
movie.
Mark likes to joke, but Mark and Chris like to joke, but that's what we're talking about next week. So
No, we're not.
No, we're
Anyways,
talking-
anyways, so yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what some of your favorite underrated comedies are.
For sure.
We've got Corey's neglected video is up on this channel now.
It is.
Um,
It's really
got-
good. I like it.
It's a good episode. We
Thank you,
got the
Chris.
DCOM debate. We got film section. We got new episodes of Will It Be Classic coming out next week. So
I think
got
I'm
our
gonna, you know what,
podcast
I'm
about
gonna
Trump
do
getting
mine. I'm
indicted.
gonna do mine, but I'm gonna switch it up. We'll talk about it.
okay, all right.
All right.
But yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.